This is a highly anticipated episode where we are celebrating International Women's Day with two of my friends from Walmart. Welcome to the Produce Moms. This is the podcast where I talk to various people who've made an impact on the fruit and vegetable community. There are so many stories to share that will change the way you look at fresh produce. We are welcoming to the show today Carrie Mack, as well as Carmel Stout. These two women serve as senior sourcing managers for Walmart, and we're going to learn a lot more about how these two women, through their professional lives, have such an impact on the fruits and vegetables that we're all able to bring home. Carrie, we'll start with you. Please say hello to our guests.
Hi, thanks for having me.
We're so glad you're here. And Carmel.
Hello.
Carmel and Carrie are the women at Walmart who source your favorite fruits and vegetables. So let's learn more about them. Carrie, tell us about how you started your career and how you grew into the female leader that you are today.
Well, I definitely didn't see myself in this industry in apples. I definitely stumbled across the industry at a very young age. I worked in just about every aspect of the industry as you could as I worked my way up the ranks. I was really fortunate to have a lot of people from different parts of the industry to help me learn and grow. And they fed my desire that I had to learn, embraced my desire. All these different roles that I had over the industry, whether it was working in shipping or accounting or working on the sales floor in the marketing offices, they definitely made me the well-rounded associate that I am today. When I looked at across the room, the bullpens growing up in the industry, there weren't a lot of women that looked like me. And I always said to myself, if I got the opportunity to impact change, I really wanted to make sure that there was more diversity in the industry. And that's what really motivates me.
I love that. And let's emphasize for folks, what do you do today? I say that you and your colleague, Carmel, you have such a profound impact on the fruits and vegetables that are accessible to Walmart shoppers. So, Carrie, explain to people what your title means. And you mentioned apples, so I know what that means, but our listeners might not.
Yeah, so I'm responsible for sourcing apples and pears for all the U.S. stores. So I work hand in fist with the merchant back in Arkansas, and I have a really strong cross-functional team that we couldn't do our work without. And a large part of our responsibility is working and developing relationships with our growers, suppliers, and the industry that we both work within. Growing up in a community that's fed by agriculture, both Carmel and I did, we have a really particular strong passion for produce sourcing, and our role being to connect with those growers and be the face of Walmart for the industry. Partnerships are really important to help us navigate through the challenges that come up within the crop and within the industry. And it helps us to really ensure that we're able to put fresh, good quality product at an affordable price on the shelf for our customers every day. Sourcing in our grower partners is just one big piece of the puzzle that we work with every day.
I love that. And Carrie, we're definitely going to talk more about how your professional life interfaces directly with all of those growers and how involved you are literally from the seed or the orchard level right down to that consumer smile. So, and let's emphasize for folks, you mentioned that you grew up in an agricultural region, with that being part of your personal culture. Was that in the Washington Apple region where your office is based today?
I'm born and raised in Selah, Washington. I've lived there my whole life, still do. Very proud of my hometown. It's fed by agriculture. And many of the growers and shippers that we source from are from here in Washington, all the way up to the northern Canadian border and down south. And we also source from multiple other growing regions within the country.
And anytime I talk to someone who is from apple country, I always say, you know what my favorite thing to pair with a Washington apple is?
Wine.
I was going to say Cougar Gold cheese,
Oh.
but yes, wine works too.
Yeah, I guess that would be a good one too. We have lots of things we like to pair with our apples.
The opportunities are endless with that. I do random fun fact. I believe that there is a gas station in Selah, and I stopped there in my my first visit to the orchards with Sage Fruit Company, I couldn't believe how bright everything was. And I did not have my sunglasses with me. So I think I still have a pair of sunglasses that I purchased at one of the gas stations in Selah, Washington. But with that, Carmel, let's get you on the mic. Let's talk more about what you do every day at Walmart.
Yeah, so I source potatoes and sweet potatoes for Walmart US. So we just work daily to really just build the relationships with our grower partners. And our main focus is to collaborate with them. We want to know what they're doing, why they're doing it, how they're managing their vegetables in this case, and internally knowing what the focus of Walmart is. And then my job is really to merge those two. So it's really all about connection, collaboration, and communication between the grower all the way to Walmart.
For the folks who tune into this broadcast faithfully and who follow the produce moms, I'm going to try not to cry, but everyone knows who follows TPM that we have the Easy Baker potatoes that are grown by Wada Farms that carry the Produce Moms brand that are on shelf now at Walmart. And I must say, folks, that would not have been possible whatsoever without Carmel believing in what we had to offer through our educational platform and the TPM brand. So, oh my gosh, thank you. What a great moment that was for me to see them. I had to drive to Nashville, Tennessee to buy them because they're not in the distribution where I live. But it was really a wonderful moment for me to see those on shelf. And I thank you for your support with that and for all the wonderful growers that both of you women are empowering in your day to day. And I want to emphasize to folks, we are talking about apples, pears, sweet potatoes, and potatoes. Apples and potatoes. I mean, these are this is, when you look at consumer demands and reports, these are huge category leaders in fruit and veg. Potatoes in a resounding way, and apples, right up there with bananas and other leading fruits in America. So when we say that these two women are leaders, and absolute critical stakeholders in the value chain of fruits and vegetables here in America, that is almost an understatement. But we're gonna talk a little bit more about. I love your remarks, your introductory remarks, having such a connection to the grower. I think is that's just like the spirit of agriculture. Everyone we bring on this show, it is very evident that this industry, the heart and soul of this industry, is on the farm, in the orchard, in the field. Let's talk a little bit now about the purpose of Walmart and how you feel that purpose comes to life in your day to day.
I started at Walmart when I was 17 years old. So this has been ingrained in me for a really long time. The purpose is to save people money so they can live better. And my role and the role of all of the sourcing team really helps increase the accessibility to affordable, fresh produce to our customers day in and day out. It's really important to me that I am really supplying that for the customer, and I can make sure that we have it at a cost that they can purchase our vegetables and our fruits. I mean, it really means a lot to me.
And I think it means a lot to everyone. I mean, it's no mystery. We had previous episodes, and closer to the beginning of the year, we had Dave Ramsey's daughter, Rachel Cruz, on the podcast, and we talked about, the financial strain of grocery shopping right now. So knowing that is, Walmart's purpose, that it's part of, your identity as an employee there, I think it just is, it's so timely, and it's a great reminder to folks what Walmart's guiding light is. So I do thank you for sharing that. So 17, you started, you got to tell me how you started, in cashier, or what was it?
I was in the health and beauty department, and I became a cosmetics department manager when I was just out of high school. So I really my mom had worked at Walmart previous to me. So she started in 93, And I started in '99, so that ages me. But it really has been my life. And I always make a joke, to the group here that I bleed blue because, it just really has been my life forever.
Well, that's not a bad thing. I think everyone tuning in can identify with how Walmart's been part of their life. And, I always think about this too. One thing that I think the pandemic made evident to America is how grocery stores and retailers are far more than a place for transactions. These are community institutions. These are places where, your life services are made accessible. And it's also a place of community building too. So it's a lot more than a grocery store. And I think that came very evident to us in the early days of the pandemic, and hopefully everyone still is thanking the frontline workers at grocery stores, because it's an incredible, tremendous commitment to make sure that fresh food is available every single day at every single Walmart that sells food. It is a huge commitment, and you both are very much part of that. So let's talk about that day to day. Carrie, when you come into work, what's your typical day look like? I mean, help people understand the volume of apples and pears that you're helping to source from these orchards and put into the distribution.
A typical day is hard to describe. The fun part about the jobs that we have is it's really easy to stay engaged because every day can look so very different. Depending on the time of the year, we can be out in the orchards looking at buds, blossoms. We can be looking at fruit that's getting ready to harvest, walking storage rooms, checking out the quality of the fruit. And then, there's weeks at a time we're working on strategy and working on our planning and what's the production going to look like, what's the crop looking like, having really in-depth conversations with our growers about the realities that they're facing, that the industry's facing. And then there's the consistent communication with our cross-functional team on what we're going to do, how we're going to execute the merchant strategy, how we're going to get things from that farm to our facilities and then on the road into the customer's table. Our big mission is to make sure that we keep everybody in supply. We keep that fruit out there and we make sure that we are driving a positive change for not only our partners and the people, but our planet, that, our growers and Walmart, that we're good stewards of the planet.
To me, it was a big reason why we went for that B Corp certification. Was because we definitely view that as a foundation pillar of importance within all of ag. I always tell people, they ask me like, why B Corp? Why does that journey resonate with you? And I just say, these are the values of agriculture, empowering the community where you're working, empowering your employees, protecting the environment and the planet. Those were all values that were taught to me by the farmers that we work with here at TPM. So, Carrie, how long have you been at Walmart? Did you start at 17?
No. I was lucky to find Carmel in the stores, though. She was a good find. She's a good egg. No, I've been in the apple and pear industry for many, many years, but I just celebrated my 10-year anniversary at Walmart. It's a very exciting place to be. I'm thrilled to have made the change from the supplier grower community over to the retail side because there's always something to learn.
With your offices being in Washington, are you sourcing primarily from that region of growers, or are you sourcing apples coast to coast?
Walmart has a strong belief in local and regionally relevant, and then also making sure that, we're putting the best product, regardless of where it comes from, in front of our customers. So we do source a good share of product from Washington, but we also source from the other growing regions, Pennsylvania, Michigan, New York, and then many, many other growing regions that just don't have as much volume, but we are an important part of those suppliers' manifest and they rely on us, and the customers look for their product in the stores. So there's many states that we source from and other parts of the globe.
And the buying that you're doing, or the sourcing management that you're doing,
Mhm.
is that for coast to coast? Is it all 50 states?
Yep, it's all states, all Walmart stores across the US.
Wow.
So like I said, it definitely takes a team. Definitely takes a team.
And Carmel, I'm sure that you can relate with that. I mean, we met through LinkedIn. That was the first time Carmel and I met. But certainly our shared partners with Wada Farms, who are out of Idaho, they definitely have told me about you. Now, same type of scenario with the potatoes, I'm assuming. Idaho grows a lot of potatoes, but so do other states and regions.
We source from nearly half of the states that we provide potatoes and sweet potatoes to. So it's pretty substantial, the amount of suppliers that we have across the U.S. and who we work with.
Obviously, Idaho is an iconic potato growing region. North Carolina, iconic sweet potato growing region. But wow, I had no idea that you were in a position where you could source from half of the United States, if not more. So that's really cool to hear. And Carrie, I love your remarks too about Walmart's role with supporting local, empowering farms of all size through your sourcing strategies. And I think that those of us in the supply chain certainly know that. I worked at wholesale distribution for 10 years, and anyone that has the ability to create a large PO with a grower, or just recurring POs with a grower, that's real time, that's legitimate sustainability for farms of all sizes. So it really is a very important stakeholder when you think of what Walmart represents from a buying volume and store footprint. So with that, let's talk about the job. All right. So I mentioned, me working at wholesale distribution. One of the things I was constantly hearing, whether it was noise from peers or people trying to like figure out what I do, they're like, "Oh, so you're an order taker, or you place orders, for you sell, you receive orders from retailers and you take orders for your warehouse. You make sure that the slots are filled in your warehouse." And it's so much more than that, but it's really no one can explain that better than the two of you. So let's talk about how your job is much more than placing orders and managing inventory. Let's share with our listeners now how you work with the farmers and how you serve Walmart shoppers through your day-to-day.
Yeah, like Carmel said earlier, I mean, really, it's developing relationships and collaborating with the growers is really where it starts. You have to have that foundation of mutual trust and respect before you can start getting in there and really understanding what they need and what we need so we can drive towards mutual success. A lot of the conversations and the beginning pieces really start there. And then, you're working towards what are the goals of those suppliers and what are the goals of the merchant and of Walmart to meet the needs of the customers. It's much more than, like you said, beyond the inventory and the PO that our teams help us to muddle through, along with the transportation piece of it, of course. But you're also having to really understand all the pressures that those growers have to make a sustainable, profitable crop. Just like any business has, you have expectations just as they do and as we do, and we need to really understand those.
And Carrie, your background included working at the grower shipper level of the supply chain.
Yeah, I worked for a marketing agency for 10 years before I came here, and then I worked for a few others prior to that. And I started off at the ground level, which is what I think, makes this job so fun is I worked in the roles that many others in the industry did, graveyard shipping. You really learn quickly to have respect for those truck drivers, and they're the ones that transport the food, all across the country. Without them, we sure wouldn't be in the position that we are, as we saw, over the last few years. And when you're the one that's moving product, you learn a lot about the roles. When you have to do, just like Carmel will understand, when you have to actually physically fill those POs for a large retailer like Walmart, you learn to appreciate all the people and all the teams that help to move the product.
Carmel, anything you'd like to add to that? Any sentiments that you have about my job's more than, managing inventory and taking orders and placing orders?
I think what we've been really lucky with working at Walmart is being that they are so boots on the ground. They want us to be out there in the fields with the growers, shippers, and really seeing what's going on. We are in the fields pretty often. And it really shows, because we know what's going on and we can communicate that to our leadership. And they know that we have those relationships and we have been there to see what, issues or new innovation or, what the growers really going through. And I feel really blessed to just be able to be on the ground with the growers. It's a pretty amazing job.
It really is. And to your remarks previously, no 2 days are the same. This industry is so dynamic. It's so fast paced. There's a new challenge to overcome literally like every hour, but it definitely is one of those industries and one of those jobs where there's no shortage of opportunity. Everyone stick with us. It's the Produce Moms podcast. We're celebrating International Women's Day with Carrie Mack and Carmel Stout. I'll never forget the day I had the confidence to take my entrepreneurial leap. It was after a brief and empowering phone call with Chuck Sinks, president of sales and marketing at Sage Fruit Company. Chuck assured me that Sage Fruit would be working with the Produce Moms as I prepared to take the TPM brand independent from its former parent company. And I feel today the same way as I felt 8 years ago about Sage Fruit. Sage Fruit is a grower-shipper brand of apples, pears, and cherries that is backed by many of the best farmers and people in the produce business. The Produce Moms loves working with the team at Sage Fruit Company. I've personally toured their orchards and packing houses in Washington State's famous Yakima Valley. Sage Fruit's commitment to growers, the land, the environment, their employees, the community, and all their supply chain partners is exemplary. Their fruit is delicious and backed by the highest food safety ratings in this industry. I am so proud to say that Sage Fruit is the brand that we have the longest standing relationship with here at the Produce Moms. And I know there's many supply chain stakeholders who can say the same thing. From me and the great team at Sage Fruit, we wish you a happy International Women's Day. Eat more apples, pears, and cherries, and please visit sagefruit.com to learn more about our valued partners at Sage Fruit Company. Welcome back. This is the Produce Moms podcast. Lori, Carrie, Carmel, we are talking about International Women's Day, and we're talking about these two amazing female leaders and their roles at Walmart. I think it's really a great opportunity for Carrie and Carmel both to share any sentiments that you might have about the rise of females within the industry, the type of opportunity that you see both within Walmart at an industry level, whatever you'd like to share.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be here without other women being advocates for myself, including Carrie. Like she had mentioned previously, she found me in the store. I was doing some store tours and I had included the sourcing team at that time. And without her just recognizing me as a woman, in the industry, I wouldn't be here. So I think it's just really important that we don't get held back by being women in a maybe male dominated industry.
In any situation that life brings us, it's really profound when you think about the celebration of International Women's Day and how far we as women have come as a society since this day, was created in the early 1900s. I mean, it is profound, the type of growth that has occurred for female opportunity here in America and around the world. I love that, Carmel, that Carrie was a catalyst for your professional growth. She is widely known throughout the industry as a mentor, collaborative. She was very eager to meet me, and I thought, oh my gosh, Carrie Mack's not going to care about meeting me. She's not going to know who I am. And she was so in tune, and when you meet someone and even if Carrie didn't know my name, I think she's the type of person who would pretend like she knew my name, and but she was just a magnetic force, when I first met her, and the way that she honored the journey that I've had in the industry, it's contagious. It makes me want to be a better leader. So Carrie, let's talk about your journey and any sentiments that you might have that relate to International Women's Day.
Yeah. Well, first off, Carmel was more than a woman. She was super friendly, super passionate. She's magnetic. People love her. So it was very easy to take her. um, but for me, like I said earlier, there just weren't a lot of female role models when I was coming up in the industry, especially in leadership roles. There was women in accounting or sales assistant. So we just didn't have mentors available to us. When I walked into orchards or warehouses, even when I started at Walmart 10 years ago, it was very common for me to be the only woman in an authority position. And so now that I have an opportunity to, use my voice, create room at the table, create room at the seat next to me for other people that are driven and they have that desire to learn. It's a great opportunity to, look across that orchard now and say, hey, look, you have some more diversity, whether that diversity is women, which that's awesome. But anytime you can have more diversity and you can add that to the conversation, it's just so much more meaningful and in depth and engaging. So yeah, I'm super fortunate that I work for Walmart that embraces all of the opinions and has healthy conversations, and we can continue to grow and bring other people in. So yeah, I'm really fortunate.
And we always say America's a diverse place, the world's a diverse place. So to have that wide lens and appreciation for others is so important in your leadership journey. Carrie was recently recognized with a coveted industry award. Every year in the produce industry, we recognize one exemplary female leader, and it occurs at a really nice celebration for women at the International Fresh Produce Association annual, meeting and expo. And this award has evolved over the years. It was recently renamed to honor one of the original female leaders in our industry, Dr. Frida Kaplan. So the Frida Kaplan Catalyst Award, Carrie is the current reigning recipient of the Frida Kaplan Catalyst Award. So round of applause from me and Carmel and everyone. Every woman in the industry appreciates it when another great leader is recognized with that award in particular. So Carrie has really been a catalyst for rallying female leaders, elevating leaders that are, kind of next gen leaders, these compelling and dynamic 30 somethings in the industry, or even 20 somethings, and 40-year-olds who are on the cusp of breaking through from managerial or vice president roles to being more executive level within the industry. Carrie is a catalyst for growth for us all. So congratulations again on winning that award and being our current reigning female catalyst winner. So can't have International Women's Day without a call out for that and mentioning Frida Kaplan's legacy. So let's get into, we have a fun segment here on this podcast that I think is going to be a lot of fun. We pull some industry headlines, and with the two of you representing essentially apples, potatoes, I know also sweet potatoes and pears too. So we have an apple headline, we have a potato headline, and then we also have an International Women's Day headline. So we'll start with the apple headline. So Carrie, this one's for you. And I'm going to read the headline, and we're just going to ask you to react to it, okay? Cosmic Crisp promo married apples and caramel. And then the subheading, to celebrate National Caramel Apple Month and the start of fall baking, Cosmic Crisp brand apples, Werther's Original Caramel, and Nordic Ware served consumers with a sweeter together promotion. Mentioned sampling at Walmart, promotion in Country Living magazine, and more. So, Carrie, with that, any comments?
Anytime cosmic comes to mind, I automatically get excited because whether you are in an orchard, a warehouse, an industry event, even before cosmic was named, people are curious. They want to know your thoughts. They want to know what you think about the flavor. And now that it's finally in the hands of the consumers and people from all over different parts of the business are working to promote it and get it in the hands of the consumer, which obviously is needed the growth rate of cosmic. We look forward to it. We look forward to more and more people picking up cosmic because obviously the state of Washington has made large investments in that apple, and we need it to be successful. Cosmic generates so much excitement. We ourselves did samples as Walmart, and reading the consumer feedback on it, it just brings joy to your face to watch people be so excited about an apple and the flavor of an apple and when is it going to be around and where can we get it, and to tell them you can get it at Walmart. You can get it at Walmart every day and add a value. So it's a very exciting apple, and the demos and bringing two different items together to help bring attention to both of them at the same time is a brilliant idea. We love it.
Yeah, I love the collaboration angle of this article, which is one reason we wanted to get your thoughts on it. You know, especially when you consider what we're celebrating today, collaboration is paramount in success. It doesn't matter if you are an Apple brand like Cosmic Crisp or if you are a female leader with a growth mindset at a corporation like Walmart. So collaboration is such a key to success in every corner of our industry and of this world. So I appreciate your remarks, and I look forward to buying my next Cosmic Crisp at Walmart, Carrie. So with that, Carmel, we're going to ask you to debunk I'm going to restate that. Carmel, we're going to ask you to respond to this potato headline. Okay, so this is more research focused. This was published by the Pennington Biomedical Research Center in the United States. And I think it's a great one because it focuses on the health benefits. All right. Potatoes have taken a beating when it comes to, should they be in your diet? Should they not? I think we can all agree on this show, potatoes are one of the ultimate choices when it comes to food. So with that, potatoes have received a key health boost on the back of a major research project recently completed. The study confirms that the potato is a healthy vegetable filled with nutrients and packed with health benefits.
The potatoes in general, yes, have had some negative, history, but we just want to make sure that we're talking about a vegetable grown in the ground. It has tons of potassium, vitamin C, and it's really for performance. They're real food. They have surprising performance-related benefits, and I think it's really important that we make sure that people are having fresh produce in their diet.
Couldn't agree with you more. And, one of my favorite things about potatoes, Carmel, is they literally are everywhere. It doesn't matter if you are looking for a quick, easy, affordable meal to feed a crowd in your home. I mean, a baked potato bar is like one of my go-tos when it's, it doesn't matter if I'm feeding my son's football team or a family gathering, or even just my family of four sitting down for dinner. Baked potato bars are one of the most affordable ways and fun ways to feed a crowd. And then when you think about dining experiences, I can't think of another vegetable that has a standing place and role on every single format of restaurant's menu. It doesn't matter if you're getting fries to go with your fast food or your carry out, or if you are, getting a baked potato at a white tablecloth fine dining experience, or any of the other ways that, au gratin, that's kind of like endless, how you can prepare them. But I do think that that's worth a call out, right? I mean, potatoes are such a favorite. And if we look at all of the top vegetables in America, I mean, I can't remember a year. I've been in this industry now almost 20 years. I can't remember a year that potatoes weren't number one in America's favorite vegetable lineup.
Yes, it is number one. And I was actually surprised to see, I think it was like 83% or 86%, I can't remember, of America's menus have a potato item on them. So, I mean, it is a really important commodity.
And what a great role you have in making it available for us all. So our last headline, and I'm going to ask both of our guests today to respond to this. So this is a headline that's centric to International Women's Day. International Women's Day was created in the early 1900s. It stemmed from the fights for equal rights by women in the United States and grew to become a global movement. Subheading: the first official International Women's Day occurred in 1911 with over 1 million people attending rallies around the world. Just thoughts. How do you think today? Look at the progress we've made. I mean, I know we mentioned that previously in the show, but wow, when I read that headline, it moves my soul in an incredible way with such a sense of pride in being a woman.
You know what I think about when I hear something like that? I think about my young daughters, and how I want them not to have to overcome the opportunities that I've had to overcome, that all the work that we put into mentoring and develop younger women, that they don't have to worry about being the only female at a table, that maybe there's 50% or 60% women at a table when they go into a meeting or a boardroom.
Couldn't agree with you more. I don't know if I mentioned this yet in the show, but I was the very first maternity leave at Indianapolis Fruit Company. My son, and my son is only 15 years old, so that we're not talking like this was not, decades ago. This was literally just 15 years ago. I was the very first maternity leave that a pretty sizable wholesale distributor ever had. So that speaks to the male dominance that this industry's had and just how far we've come, because there's not very many companies today who could say never had a maternity leave or a pregnant woman working here. There's been a huge rise in female presence in our industry since, I started in 2004. So, Carmel, your thoughts on the International Women's Day headline?
I'm lucky to be working for somebody that just really embraces women, because I just, haven't had any issues with seeing people in the management spectrum in a store. There is a lot of females. So I didn't necessarily have the same, outlook that Carrie did when she was looking at the people that were around her table. But I also just think when I hear something like that, the sky is the limit. Like, there is no limit to what we can do in the industry, how many women can be around the table. Fortunately, we do live in a time where that's not the case. We can really have our daughters at the same table that we're at. And I just think that's so cool.
That historical gratitude that we all feel hearing that headline that the first, celebration of International Women's Day occurred in 1911 with over 1 million women and people attending rallies around the world. I mean, gosh, look how far we've come. So, all right, stay tuned, everyone. More to come. I love grocery shopping. You all know that. And there's nothing that brings a smile to my face like when I actually see a Produce Moms branded fruit or vegetable on the grocery store shelf. So today I want to remind you all that we actually have an Idaho potato line that's available at select Walmart stores nationwide. So look for the Produce Moms branded Easy Baker potatoes. They are individually wrapped, triple washed, ready to cook Idaho potatoes grown by our amazing brand partners at Wada Farms. Make sure that you look for them. You are going to love them. We have so many ideas, recipes, inspirations, even a field trip to the farm that's available on our website. All you have to do is scan the little QR code that's on your Produce Moms Easy Baker to experience it all. Thank you so much, and eat more potatoes. We have a segment, Worst Advice, Best Advice. Carrie, we'll start with you. Best advice you've ever received and still believe in, and the flip side of that, the worst advice.
Worst advice? I wouldn't say it was advice as much as just a comment, and it sticks with me, even though it was so many years ago. It was early on in my career. I was a young mother, and I was getting ready to leave a company for a financial step back, but I thought long term it would work out for me. And I had a person that told me it was very naive and irresponsible to make such a irresponsible financial decision with young children. Wasn't a warranted opinion. It paid off. I landed pretty good long term, but it sticks with me to this day that somebody would, give an opinion like that.
Well, you know what they say, when there's a hater, that means you're probably doing something right. So,
Yep.
All right. The flip side of that, best advice you've ever received or best advice you like to give. I know you're a strong mentor for a lot of the women in this industry.
It actually works both ways because I do find myself giving it out. But my best advice, it comes from my parents. I really firmly do believe that, you are how you are raised. And my parents always instilled in me that you can do anything that you set your mind to, as long as you work hard and you treat people right. And there was no differentiation for me being a girl versus my brother. So I've been really fortunate to have great leaders in my life that have helped me and believed in me. But my parents have always been the one that have taught me all my life that you can do whatever you want to do. And I do tell that to many people that I work with.
And with this being the Produce Moms podcast, we love to hear any sort of nod or gratitude for parents. So big thumbs up on that, Carrie. Carmel, how about you? Best advice, worst advice, what you've received, what you've given. We'd love to hear more.
I'll start with the worst advice. Some people suggested that I stay in the same field as I was previously and just work up from there. But it wasn't until I had the opportunity, like I'd mentioned previously, specifically Carrie here, reaching out to me and giving me a new way of moving up that would work best for me and my family. I was a young mom and there were opportunities where I could have moved up previous to that, but I chose to wait until I found something that worked for my family. And my best advice, recently I had a leadership said, we are all in the business of buying and selling things, but in the end, it's all about the people. We are in the people business. And I remember writing this down just a couple weeks ago, people business. And what I really took away from that was like our personal connection from the grower to the final customer is really important, but building a real connection with people is what it's all about. We have to have a connection with the final customer.
I completely agree. To the point where at the Produce Moms, we recently dropped the vernacular of B2B or B2C, and we now embrace H2H, human to human. And I'm hoping that everyone in this industry can think of their work, whether it's marketing, communications, buying, selling, whatever your stake is in this industry, embrace exactly what Carmel just said there. It is about the people and building up those connections and fostering great alliances in our day to day. All right, ladies, we've got to ask you both. I mean, we've got the apple woman, the potato woman here. So Carrie, favorite way to eat apples?
Oh, it's so hard because I eat them in so many different ways. My favorite way that I think people wouldn't think to use apples is I love mulligatawny. So it's a curry stew, and I love to put in different types of apples in it. So I'll rotate it seasonally, and the curry with the different types of apple, you can really get the different textures and different sweetness levels of the apple. So that'd be my favorite way.
Okay, and how do you say it again? Because I'm very unfamiliar with this dish.
Mulligatawny. It's a curry stew.
And I might need your recipe.
Okay.
All right, Carmel, for you, potatoes, favorite way to eat them?
I love my air fryer so much. And our baby red potatoes are just my favorite. I slice them up, throw them in the air fryer, put a little bit of spray oil on them and some salt, and just let them fry for about 15 minutes. And then I like them topped with some fresh salsa, some turkey taco meat, and some Greek yogurt. That's really my favorite. It's almost like a potato nacho dish, but I just love it so much. And it's, it's got a ton of vitamin C in it, and it's, around 300 calories for that meal. So it's just really important to.
They call that, Carmel, the Irish nacho is what that's known as online. That's the Irish nacho. Okay. Yes, I love it. And they are delicious. You're right. If you haven't tried it, folks, we do have an Irish nacho recipe on theproducemoms.com. All right. Well, with that, it's been an incredible episode. I want to thank our guests for being part of our International Women's Day celebration. Carrie, Carmel, couldn't have done this episode without you. And we're very, very honored that you're the two featured guests for this highly anticipated annual celebration that we do here at the Produce Moms podcast. So with that, I say goodbye. Carrie, Carmel, you have closing remarks. The mic's yours to say goodbye to everyone who's with us today. Carrie, we'll start with you.
Thank you so much for having us, especially on this meaningful day. It does mean a lot to us. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much for having us. I really do appreciate the time and the energy that went into this meeting, and especially on International Women's Day.
Don't forget to subscribe to the Produce Moms podcast on Apple, Spotify, Amazon, and any preferred podcast platform. Check out the Produce Moms on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and YouTube. Special thanks to everyone involved with the Produce Moms podcast, my amazing team. Stay tuned till next time. The number one question we get from our audience is, how can I get my kids to eat more fruits and vegetables? One way we can all do this is by making fresh produce fun. Check out our food art gallery and step-by-step guides by visiting theproducemoms.com and searching food art. Because come on, a penguin made of blueberries is just more fun than a bowl of blueberries.